Hello. Um, we are here again today, but today is just only me. Um, I just felt we needed to do some very few talk, just to have a very few time of discussion on a topic that I've just been led to. I've just been led to talk about, and I feel probably one or two persons might just need it. But before I go into that, please, I want you to like, I want you to comment, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to share, please. And I hope that as you do so, the Lord will help us. All right. Today I want to talk about my pregnancy, my puzzle. I know a lot of people will be wondering what's that all about, but I don't want to take much time, so I might have to just go straight then along the line you get what I'm saying. Now, pregnancy. I know most women know, we all know what pregnancy is all about. So I don't have to start talking about pregnancy, this is pregnancy, that's pregnancy. But what I want to talk about today is what is expected of us during pregnancy, what is expected of us during that process of 9 months, what and what we should know. Fine, for some people it's always very draining. For some people it's always very tasking. For some people it's always a time whereby they don't even know themselves, they don't even know how to coordinate themselves, they don't even know how to put things together, not to talk of even the house. It differs to individuals, but irrespective of that, it is expected that we get intentional about our pregnancy. I'm sure you're wondering, what is this whole intentional thing again we are coming here to talk about again? Actually, it's a time we have to get intentional about our pregnancy. You need to get intentional about your pregnancy. Why do I say that? I was trying to go through the scripture of late, today to be precise, about the story of Samson, the pregnancy of Samson, the birth of Samson, and how the information got to his parents. I got to know that the information about the birth of Samson, actually the mother got to know about it first, and the angel disclosed everything, what the don'ts, the do during this time of pregnancy, during the time of his pregnancy, even before he was conceived at all. It was the woman that the Lord gave the information to. And I and my friend were just gisting today on WhatsApp. The lockdown thing now. So we're just listening today on WhatsApp, and we're just discussing about Elizabeth and Zechariah. Now, we talked about a situation whereby these people, looking at the scripture, who've try to understand that anything that has to do with childbirth, anything that has to do with giving birth to children, conceiving a child, had always been to the woman. It has always been the woman. The information has always been related to. Definitely, it has to be the woman because she's the one to carry the pregnancy and the likes. But even the case of Elizabeth, where I know by the time we'll be seeing us next time, we'll be talking about that extensively. Even in the case of Elizabeth, she knows about it even before her husband. Somehow, based on the commentaries we've gone through and the likes. Now, that is not what we are discussing today. So now, every children that is coming to the world, or are in the world presently, or they are to come to the world, or presently are in the womb, they are special to God. They are coming for a purpose. They have a divine mandate. They have something they are coming to do. They are not just coming for the sake of just coming. So it is expected of us as parents, especially as mothers, as pregnant women, supposed pregnant, intending to be pregnant, to try as much as possible using these 9 months to make inquiries about who is this child, or who are these children, if they are twin or triplets or four triplets or quadruplets, whatever they may be. Who is this child or these children that I am carrying in me? Now, that's why I said we have to be intentional about. I'll be talking about two phases. This is the first one I'm talking about. That's why I said we have to be intentional about what happens during the process of pregnancy, because if we are not intentional about it, we have tendency to be carried away by what is happening to us inside of us, what is happening to us. Is it the vomiting, is it the sleeplessness, is it the loss of appetite, is it all of those that just come alongside with pregnancy? So those things tend to distract us, but we need to be intentional about it. So we have to ask God in all of those processes, because I remember when I was pregnant, a lot of things I could not do, even to the point of prayer. It took me about a few months for me to be able to discover when I can be alert at the middle of the night to pray. For me, I had to study myself to the point of maybe around 3, 4. I know I'm always at alert, where I will just wake up, I won't be able to sleep again. So those are the time that I have to divert my normal quiet time that I do when the day break. I divert it to that period of time, and I notice that even that period of time, I can't really close my eyes and do serious prayer. So what I do, I talk to God. Like I just talk, like just talking, and I know I discovered God do hear me. So that's what I meant by being intentional about it. Make inquiry about who this child is. Make inquiry about the purpose of this child on earth. Make inquiry about what is God saying about this child. Make inquiry about who is this child. Make inquiry about what will God have me do as parents or as a mother as far as this child is concerned. Children are not the same. They are different. So what is expected of you for each child differs. So you need to make inquiry of that, and we need to get it. If possible, document it down. What do I mean by document? Write it down. Okay, the name of the child, as the Lord will be permitting you and your husband to get a name for the child, or even if you've not gotten a name yet, at least write it down. This is what the Lord is saying about this child. This child is so. This child is this to the nation. This child is this. What precautions I needed to take, because I remembered when I was studying that book, the mother to Samson was even told what not to eat, what not to drink. And this afternoon when I was chatting with my friend, she said something that caught my attention. She said, do you know that during the period of Elizabeth, while she was away, Elizabeth had to stay indoor for 5 months? Like, that might have been an instruction. Your own instruction might not be that. Your own instruction might be dealt with something different. But we needed to intentionally get information about who these children are, who are they, what we shouldn't do, what they shouldn't do, that we need to have to start telling them when they start coming to a realization of who they are, what they shouldn't do, what they should do, what is expected of them, the peculiarity with them. We needed to get it. There are some things these children shouldn't come and be the one finding out for themselves. When a child is born and you give me information about the child, this is what God told me when I gave birth to you. There's a sense of consciousness the child has. One, there's a way the child feel about himself or herself. The child won't just feel ordinary. The child will know that my parents are like this, so I needed to follow suit. That is part 1 of the whole gist. Now, I need to pray. We need to pray. You need to pray. Even when you cannot pray, just talk, because that talking is prayer. Just talk. Even when it looks like I can't do anything, just keep talking. Just keep talking. Keep talking as much as you can. Even if you cannot talk, keep meditating. Voice out. Speak in tongues. Pray. Anything you do, make it an intentional one that period. Now, secondly, I want to try as much as possible not to exit 10 minutes. Now, second, I know you understand what I'm saying. Now, secondly, as per the psychology, the personality of that child, and the kind of person she is or he is physically, is a time also we needed to know that. Now, what do I mean? A child that is probably, I'm going into a temperamental part of it now. A child that is a sanguine, a child that is a phlegm, a child that is melancholic or choleric. When you are pregnant of that child, there are some things that you notice. There are some things within you that you feel. Things that are not you. You understand? When you're pregnant, you have a lot of things that are not you. For those that really know themselves, which I'm sure a lot of us should have gotten to that point now. Things that are not you. Things that you know that this is just not me. Actually, those are those child's attributes. Those are those children's attributes that you needed to note down. What happens to me when I'm pregnant? Do I talk? I'm the kind of person I don't talk too much. Like when I was pregnant of my child, I noticed that I become this excessively jovial. It's not like I'm not a jovial person though, but my temperament is not that kind of excessively talking person. Even I'm trying to work on myself anyway, but it's not this excessively talking person. But I noticed during that period, I'm just excessively talking, excessively jovial. I have the strength to do a lot of things. I noticed that those are not my person. So I needed to take time and study who this child was. It was when my child was pregnant, I discovered what her likely temperament was. So it was when I now gave birth to her, I affirmed it. You understand? A time where those things that happen to you. I noticed when I was pregnant that my child may not eat, because when I was pregnant, I noticed there are some things I was not eating. In fact, I was not eating. I was taking more of Gary and the likes. So when I gave birth to her, I was not surprised when I noticed she was not eating. It was from pregnancy I knew that she was not eating, or she was not going to be eating. So I had to note down some of those things I was doing during pregnancy. Those are the things they cannot be far-fetched from who your child is going to be, or the attributes your child may have, or the temperament of your child. And from that point, you know, when your child is not a stranger to you, even if it's not your temperament, my child is not my temperament. She did not take my temperament. She did not. She took more of my husband's temperament. But even if she's not your temperament, you know how best to handle her. You know her kind of person. So when you see her not misbehaving per se, or maybe not talking, maybe you have a child that's just not talking, just wants to be to herself, you must have noticed while you were pregnant. Maybe that time you just noticed that you just don't want to talk. You just want to be yourself. You just want to be alone. All of those signals, they are not just mere things that came to you, or they are not just mere occurrences. They are occurrences that happen, that to give you a signal of who this child is and the likely child you might be giving birth to. So what I want to just tell us at this point is, try as much as possible, take time, study yourself while you are pregnant, study those things that you do when you are pregnant. They cannot be far-fetched from who your child is. Study the kind of person your child might likely be. Study the kind of person you were when you are pregnant, all through the time you carry that pregnancy. 9 months is a long time for you to discover who your child is, spiritually, physically, psychologically, and emotionally, as the Lord will be helping. Because even up to your psyche, some things will be happening to you that give you insight that this child might likely be like this. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, God will help us such that our children will not be strangers to us. We will not be looking at them as, who are you, or who is this? But rather we'll be able to figure out the plan of God for their life, even using their personal physiology or psychology, putting it into play. And I know that the Lord will help us as we do that. I remain Mrs. Olabera. Thank you very much. God bless you.